All right. So it's Wednesday, and what we've been doing as of recent, we've been encouraging young professionals to come by and sit down on our couch and have little chit chat with them to talk about their professional upkeep and things of that nature, and also at the same time to motivate young people out there who might be so discouraged and down in these critical times. Let's welcome to the program right now. We've got a talented young man who is basically in the production field. Let's welcome to the program Mr. Kojo McPherson. Kojo, good morning and
Morning,
welcome
sir.
to the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice that we can get you out here this early in the morning. Kind of times people are like, oh, it's too early to get up. All right, Kojo, let's start with growing up. You're a city boy.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up? Which part of the city and which school did you attend?
Well, I grew up around Georgetown, South Ramville mostly. Went to President's College, actually, for up to CXC. Then after that, went to Bishop's High School to do sixth form, A level and Cape. Is actually at PC, dealing with the culture shock of moving around with family and then going to this boarding school that I actually came across poetry as a means of um, discussing what I was observing and trying to cope with the change of scenery, the change of pace of
All right,
things.
we're gonna get it's poetry and production. We're gonna talk about it, but we're
Mhm.
gonna get there in just 1 second. How was the area in which you grew up in changed to now present day? Has there been much change, transition?
Uh, Sadly, no. Well, not much for the better. I mean, we're talking about Georgetown after all. I mean, it's actually part of what I'm going through right now, as an artist, as an artist, and as a creative professional, is exploring ways to talk about this change that I've seen, um, and to contextualize it and to communicate that, um, in a way that allows other people to think about what it is that's going on around them. Anyway,
How
before we
have
get
you
into that,
seen?
it could be a bit trust.
Yeah, QC
The
going
PC
PC.
and,
Sorry.
Bishops,
Oh
yeah.
goodness, going to President's College, a boarding school. What was the experience like?
Ah, PC was like a microcosm of the larger world. I mean, everything that you saw going on in the world out there was
It was
going on at
happening
PC.
in PC back then.
It was happening at PC. So it's very interesting like that. It was a very, let me put it this way, it was a very dynamic experience. To put it
When you say
nicely.
everything that we see going on out there, what's basically happening is a microcosm. Um, how do you can you define that a little bit more for us?
Um, I mean, well, remember going to President's College. It's a boarding school, so you know we're not just going. We weren't just going there attending school. We were living on campus. So it wasn't checking in to school and checking out. This is your home. So without getting into too much detail, I think, so I don't want to make it sound completely scandalous. But it was a rich
A
experience.
rich
It was a really
experience.
really rich experience.
How was it blending? Because you've had children coming from various parts of the country,
Mhm.
and you coming. How was that? Because everybody you're mixing now, and you've got to become one. You've got to become a community
Mhm.
within a community.
Mhm.
Um, how did you find that?
Well,
The whole gelling experience.
I found it was really it's a gift in a way. I mean, maybe at the point in time as a child you don't see it that way, but it really was a gift because um, my bunkmate, I think in first year, um, was from the interior. Um, I ended up having best friends from Essequibo that I went to visit. Um, so everyone is bringing a different experience. Linden had a strong presence there. You know what Linden is? How they are.
Yeah.
They don't need a whole lot of them. You just need a few of them, but they have a presence.
Yeah.
So Linden had his presence there and all. So it's interesting to have all these backgrounds, all these experiences that people are sharing, and even we talk about Guyanese culture. Really, all these different places have their own bit of culture going on, and all of them are bringing that there, and it's not always easy for for students um, to assimilate into that, to get it, to transition smoothly into that. But at the end of the day, it makes us all richer. We have the opportunity for it to make you rich. I know it's made me richer because through those connections, those friends I made at PC, I was able to, you know, get outside of Georgetown and start to see what life is like.
What's the one thing you take away from all the years that you've been
Oh man, Handel, so much, so much, so much, so much. Um, that's a tough question for me. I think that's something I have to sit down and think about. But I think the thing that the thing that one of the things I can take away from the experience at PC is just how rich the
there?
country
That's what it is.
is. A lot of us, um, we we live and grow and go to school in one area, on the East Coast or Georgetown and all that, and you can kind of subconsciously get the idea that this is the world, right? So I think the PC experience lets you know otherwise.
Otherwise, I
Yeah.
like that. That's powerful. When you look at the school, we're not focusing too much here. But when we look at the school today, are you pleased with what's
No,
happening?
no,
You're not.
no.
All right. Let's get to the poetry aspect.
You
Of
realize
things.
that'll take up the whole program, right?
Yeah, this is a whole
yeah,
different session by itself. Let's get to the poetry aspect. You found that as a way to tell stories, to
Mhm.
tell the realities
Mhm.
of the time,
Mhm.
and you continue to do that until now.
Yeah, I mean, really at first, as a child, your experiences aren't that rich. I mean, your experiences are valid, but they're not as rich, say, as a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, or 40-year-old, 50. As you grow, you should evolve. Not necessarily, but you should evolve. Um, but yeah, I found that the best medium for me to use to communicate was in my mind, was in my heart, to offload and so on. What I like to say about poetry, at least the way that I do poetry, is it's as if you take a volume of an encyclopedia, right? So you take a volume of a Britannica like this, and you smash it down to a page,
That's poetry.
right? So it's taking all that um, wealth of experience, or taking a moment in time and making connections and references and all these different things. Um, you could be talking about large social issues. You could be talking about a moment in time that you were going through. But it's about taking all that experience, and rather than writing a short story or a novel that has dialogue and this and all that sort of thing and all that, it's about smashing all down to a single page. And over time, what I try to do is to perfect the art of doing that. So when you read a line, that line conjures up so much imagery, and that line in relation to the line that comes after it or before it, you combine that. Well, it's another experience going on right there. It's as if you're baking a cake.
Yeah.
The eggs by themselves are just eggs. You add, milk, a little flour. I'm not a baker or anything like that. So if I get something wrong, please excuse me. The essence by itself is just the essence. When you mix all that together, all the
I
different
think
ingredients, you come up with something that's new.
my entire idea of poetry, that's how I see poetry. Because for me, I don't think I've ever read a poem and tried to get one thing out of the entire poem. I cannot read a poem and get one story out of it. I think my mind is like that.
Mhm.
As you rightfully explained, I take one line and it takes me somewhere. So I might read the poem, yes, but then I've got to go back. And I think poetry helps you to think really deep.
Yes, it
You
does.
know.
It does. It does. I mean,
But
so
on
for instance, sorry, just
mm,
very quickly on that point, I had a brief stint as a teacher at Bishop's. I was doing English B. I remember the first class that I did was Colonial All Girls School. Yes, Colonial All Girls School by Olive Senior. I thought it would be a clever piece to do because Bishop's is a Colonial All Girls School.
yeah.
The women in my family had gone there. and even some of the teachers have gone there as well. And a poem. It's a very fairly simple poem, not very long, in a page and a half in a small book like that, maybe two at the most. Short lines, but I basically took up the entire lesson doing that one
Doing
poem
that one point.
because there's all the history and there's all the context of what the poet is saying just there, and then we put that in the physical space that we are. Art, poetry,
Good morning, HBTV family. It's 8 a.m. Have the children left for school? Classes start within the hour.
life.
It's like, do you think that we take poetry for granted in this part of the world?
Yeah, we do, and part of that I think there is somewhat of a pushback against spoken word, right? But really, because we say, oh, it's not really an art form, all these things and so forth. I think we take it for granted because
Is it because of the appreciation and the era in which we're in?
I think people will always take for granted an art form that doesn't speak to them.
Yeah.
Um, music, whatever the case may be. I think I don't think that we encourage artists on the whole, or students even, to or artists to produce, and students to expose themselves to material that speaks to them. So even if you're doing, and you need to always bring it back to the person. Even if you're studying Romeo and Juliet in school, you need to bring that to the experience of the student. How does this relate to you? You know. So I think that's something that we're always looking outwards when we need to take all these different things and you expand your mind. You look outwards into the broader world, but you're also bringing it back home to our experiences. That's what we have to, and we fail to do that.
Do you think one probably needs to be an academic to get into and produce poetry?
No. All you need to do is be observant. That's the most important trait for an artist to have, is to be observant. A lot of us look around, you look out on the road there, and regular citizen mightn't see much. But if you're a poet, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a painter, whatever, you see different things. So it's to make those observations and to communicate those observations in whatever medium that is your chosen medium. If you're a writer, if you're a photographer, if you're a filmmaker. Like for instance, there's this activity that I learned in workshops, where you send everybody in the workshop out, and everybody has a minute to just look around and observe, right? What happens always is that everyone comes back, and even though everyone is looking at the same scene at the same time, everyone sees something different. And everyone sees something different because of who they are, because of where they happen to be standing at that point in time. So even if I'm looking at this vase right here, the flowers, people aren't seeing the flowers here. But if I'm standing from this side, I'll see more of the white flowers. If I'm standing from over here, I'll see this nice sunflower looking thing here.
It kind of like the media for me, and we're going out on assignments.
Mm-hmm.
You got reporters from several media houses attending this one assignment, and when you listen to the news, you get this side of that very story, and you get another side, and
Mm-hmm.
I think in that, if you're going to listen, you're observant. You get to make your own analysis, having listened to all of the reporters' report on
Yeah.
this one issue.
Yeah.
How did you get into the whole videography and the film industry? How did you?
Okay. Well, my very first taste of video production actually came as a UNICEF volunteer. I did a workshop in Suriname called 1 Minutes for My Rights. So you produce a 1 minute video talking about some right or so on that you have. But really, I got my really jumped into it in 2011.
Was there ever a passion?
Yeah, my story is, I can't remember exactly how old I was, maybe about 8, 10 years old, and I saw a Spike Lee movie. Mobile Blues.
I know
It
that.
was a Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes. It was about jazz musicians and so on and all that kind of thing. A really heavy movie. And I finished watching that movie and was like, someday I'm gonna work on a film. I'm gonna work in film. I don't know how. Writer, director, actor. I don't know how. Maybe I want to be
We're
be
talking around
Denzel a
age.
little bit. Yeah, about 8, 10 years old. Not even 10, younger than that.
Okay.
I just decided this is I'm gonna do this somehow. So when I got the opportunity to be a part of the President's Film Endowment in 2011, it was a dream come true. And I was actually not even a main participant. Actually, I hadn't been chosen in the original batch. I was just kind of coming there, just tagging along. And just so happened that I got the opportunity to submit a pitch for a movie. That pitch got selected, literally drawn out of a hat, coincidence. Um, and and so that was the beginning of a dream fulfilled. Something I had put out into the universe, years and years before, and it was actually coming back around to me.
When you're out in the field, when you're doing your work, putting together your pieces, um, what gives you that like yeah moment? Like this is it.
We're talking about
You
film.
know? Yeah, yeah, in filming.
It's different things. No, I mean on film I work as well, film and video production. Um, I have worked as a writer, work as a videographer, even working, camera and
So
lights.
basically, you're rounded
Yeah,
in
rounded. You
production.
have to be. You have to be. Even if you do, settle on one thing, it's good to get an idea of what everyone has to do. And as an editor, I've also worked on. But as I really enjoy being a director the most. And what I really enjoy about being a director is when you have everyone, in the scene and um, perhaps they'll have challenges with something or whatever the case may be, but having someone come out of themselves and to become this other person and really be in the moment, and sometimes it's just, you whisper in the ear, sometimes you work with them beforehand. I think I don't know if Keon McKay is watching this, but Keon McKay is one of the artists I've worked with, one of the actors I've worked with on film, Sony Yard, Randolph Critchlow, Leslie Lashley, uh, um, but like working with Keon in particular was very satisfying because there's this very young actress. I think she maybe done one or two stage productions before, but I saw something in Kiona, and working with her beforehand, and I thought the performance that she gave was just wonderful, just nuanced and all that. She really embodied that character. So it's seeing people do that and embody a character. Um, that really Michelle Henry is another young woman I've worked with in film. Seeing someone come out of themselves and embody a character is what
That's
really
very
makes
good.
me
You
happy.
know, this industry, it's not a hyping one like overseas.
Hmm.
When you compare, what keeps you going in your chosen field? Because I think every so often we all get that little feeling that we want to jump out. We want to make a switch. We want to give something else a try. And for me, it is always okay to give new things a try because if you stay where you are, you never know what lies beyond. You know, and until I think we take that jump
Hmm.
with certain things, we don't know our
You
true
answering my
potential.
question.
Yeah. So
I
what?
mean, first off, I think all artists, all creative professionals are slightly mad. First and
Yeah.
foremost, to do this, you have to be slightly mad, honestly. The second
So
thing is,
you're saying there's a little
there's a
thing
little bit,
with
but
you with
I
you.
mean, but hear this. I mean, I remember, very very vividly, doing sixth form, being a UG student, and everyone, knowing, I'm a writer. This is what I'm passionate about, and like, no, you can't make a living off of that. Even I had tried doing other things. Um, and then I had the opportunity to become a scriptwriter on Marunda. I was there for 4.5 years, a senior scriptwriter for 2.5 of those years. Um, and so it was the most improbable thing. Making a living as a writer in Ghana, that's impossible. And then this opportunity came along. It happened. I was one of a few people that had that opportunity. Um, when I was 8 years old, I didn't have any clear path of how I was going to work on film. I managed to do that. It's not magic. There's no one easy answer that I could give right now. Program, I know we're running out of time already, but really you have to know that the way the things are right now, they aren't always going to be that way. And and even when I get down, I get frustrated, and I've been very frustrated over the years. I look at there are some even younger people than me, that are just incredible people like Drew Thoven, who's a sound engineer. Groups like Collage. It's mostly musicians. Jackie Hanover, Lisa Punch. You know, um, and when I see their creativity and their enthusiasm, their innovation, it makes me hopeful. So that helps to keep me
So you find all the
rejuvenated.
things, you find all the people, to draw strength, to
You
draw
have to.
motivation.
You have to. When you're going into this, when you're going into, um, I mean, the one bit of advice. Look at this camera right here. The
Hmm.
one bit of advice I would have for young people hoping to get into creative field, first and foremost, don't do it. You might think that's counterintuitive, but don't do it just as a hobby. Don't do it just because, oh, I want to play with cameras or I want to play with sound. Right. You do that because you have the passion to do this thing and all that. You can't, if you're not creating, it's like not eating, it's not drinking, not breathing air. But when you go into it though, you have to find other people that you're going to collaborate with. You have to find people who know the business side. You have to know people who are going to support you emotionally, um, financially. You know, you have to
Bottom line
do
is
that.
you
You
can't
can't
do
do
it
it on
on
your
your
own.
own.
You can't do it on
Don't
your
think
own.
about going
I
in.
think I think the thing that stymies the creative industries in Guyana. When I say creative industries, I mean music, I mean film, all those things that we call the arts
Arts, yeah.
broadly. The thing that stymies us a lot is that we don't collaborate as much. You need to collaborate. There's a reason why when you watch a film or a TV show, the credits take 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes to run because it is a collaborative process. Um, you can't do it on your own. The jack of all trades is good when you absolutely have to, but it's only so far being a jack of all trades would take you. And the best experiences I have had working on this have not been me working with myself, it's me working with a team of people
Team of people.
and feeding off of each other and coming up with something greater than the sum of all parts.
I want to ask you this quickly. How do you view luck and opportunity? How do you see the two?
Well, I think someone said luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. Yeah, I've heard that said. Luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. Um, yeah, I've had good fortune. I really had some blind, stupid, dumb luck.
Mm-hmm.
If I had not been prepared to grab all those opportunities, I would be nowhere. Then I've had times when I've had opportunities present themselves, I wasn't ready for them, and
So,
those opportunities have gone away.
what do you do? We're going off here. What do you do, and how do you know if you'll ever be ready? Because in life you'll always have these things coming and going at you, and some people say when opportunity comes once, it doesn't come again.
How true is that? I don't know. How do you know if you're ready? I mean, that's the thing is you don't even know the opportunity is going to be there. That's the thing. These opportunities come and you really don't. You really. When I decided to take a leave of absence from UG, I had no idea that USAID was thinking about launching a radio serial drama on behavior change. They didn't even know what behavior change was at that point in time. I didn't know that, but through a series of events, I think it was 6, 7 months later, or 6 months later, after taking my leave of absence in UG and not knowing what I was going to do, I lined up basically in a dream job. You don't know when these opportunities are going to present themselves. You need to always be ready.
Like the powerful. You're a father of two.
Yeah.
Before we go, um, your girls you see them as a blessing,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
every day. What's the most joyous moment, for you?
It's tons.
Say it.
Um, and like right now, my eldest Tina, she's going to play group. So one of the joyous moments is going to collect her and she sees it and she's like daddy daddy, then she runs out and all, Kodak moment kind of thing and all that. And the youngest one, Mackenzie, she's 10 months old. She started walking a few months ago, and they started to get more of a personality and all these sort of things. So it's seeing her walk and look up and smile at you, that kind of thing.
So,
It's just really satisfying. Yeah.
as a dad, as a father, obviously you stick by your girls, and following your postings on Facebook, doing a wonderful job. And I guess also seeing your children make that first step in life, maybe the first tooth probably,
Mhm.
and that's like another wow moment.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. It makes you stop and I mean you have to grow as a person. Um, I won't take all the credit to Moses, like Moses Telford.
Oh, but yeah,
Works
we
that
had
is.
Musa a while on
Yeah,
here.
Musa is a
Is
really
that Murundo
amazing
you met
mother.
her?
Yeah. Let me don't go there.
So
Let me don't
thanks
go
to
there.
Murundo, right?
Yeah. um, yeah. It forces you to really grow as a person and stop and think about your reactions to things, to people, what is really important, what's just um, you know, not so important, not to worry about. So that's really been a great
Have you ever
experience.
stopped and think, how is it can fathers leave their children and go off
I don't
with it?
understand that honestly. A lot of us don't have um, healthy relationships with our fathers. I don't have a healthy relationship with my father, and so um, I look at my daughters. I wonder how could you not have a relationship with children. But I feel blessed though, because I work the way that I work. I spend a lot of time working from home. My office is home, and so I'm around for all that, all the good and the bad and the ugly and the tantrums and all the sweetness and everything, the good and the bad. Um, that doesn't necessarily explain away everything, but it really is a wonder to me. It really, really baffles me how men walk away. But that's a whole other conversation right
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
You have a forum around the table on that. Yeah.
Kojo, thanks so much for being a part of the show this
Thanks for
morning.
having
It was
me.
a
Yeah.
pleasure having you here, and all the best as you continue to, do what you do best in your field.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.